There's a lot of factions forming tonight, and we started off the women's tournament to crown the first ever NXT UK Women's Championship. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT UK review for November 14th, 2018, Part 2. Started off with a replay of the announcement about the Women's Championship, that not only the announcement that we talked about in the last episode, but the announcement that was initially made at Royal Albert Hall by Triple H and Johnny Saint. Small video package on the 8 women involved. I still think it's bullshit that Killer Kelly's not in there, but whatever. And then we immediately dropkick ourselves into the first match, which is Bayley Done Right, aka Dakota Kai, taking on Nina Samuels. Now, I gotta say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I love the UK crowd because they made this a lot of fun. Not that Dakota Kai versus Nina Samuels wasn't fun anyway, but the chants and the obnoxious chants throughout this match were fucking great. Collar and elbow tie up, takedown by Samuels, running punt kick and a double stomp by Kai, trip by Samuels, a takedown by the hair and a surfboard stretch. She does, I'll give her a lot of credit. Nina Samuels does a lot of different submission variations on the surfboard stretch throughout this match, and it's really, really good. Drop kick by Samuels and a double arm bar in the middle of the ring, barring both arms behind the back. And Dakota Kai, just because she's so small and because she's younger, not as young as who we're going to talk about later on, but because she's younger and smaller and such a babyface, she sells pain really well. And it's not like a typical wrestling match where you're selling a move, you're just literally selling pain. And the crowd started chanting, "If you really hate Nina, clap your hands," for a long time, and it made me smile a whole bunch. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Samuels, who locks her into a gory special, which is great. As she's in the gory special, she shouts out, "It's my women's championship." And one guy on his own in the front row, dead center of the camera, just shouts out, "No, it's not," which is fucking brilliant. Forearms by Kai, kicks, a drop kick, a broski boot, a haluva kick, and a chiropractor gets the win for Dakota Kai, and it makes me a very, very happy kid. As I said, this could have been Killer Kelly. I'm just saying. Not that Nina Samuels is horrible, but I don't have a reason to care yet. I hope that doesn't make me sound like a dick. It probably does. We have Mark Andrews being interviewed in the back. Says, you know, after all the business with the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang is over, now he's got his eyes set on some gold. He's confronted by Flash Morgan Webster. Says, you know, you and me sounds like a pretty good team. They foreshadow that they're going to go for the soon-to-come NXT Tag Team Championships. So now, in my mind, I don't know if you guys agree, please feel free to disagree down in the box below, but in my mind now we've got Andrews and Webster, which is a decent team, and then you got the Coffee Brothers, you got Mustache Mountain, who are probably going to be the finals. Let's be real for a second. We get 2 matches in a row that are basically the same thing, and normally I would criticize this, but it's just really good. They took something that I usually can't stand, which is squash matches, jobber matches. You know, they serve a purpose, but if you want to see how much they don't serve that purpose, go back and see the beginning of Ryback's career. Go back and see the beginning of anybody that was pushed like Ryback. It's just, okay, A, if they're that easy to beat, why are they in the ring? B, if they're that easy to beat, how impressive is it that they got beat? But we got the debut of Tyson T-Bone, who has this great sort of, like, bushwhacker slash street fighter slash I just don't give a shit way about him. Nigel McGuinness on commentary said he's got one of his tattoos is a tattoo of the Virgin Mary, and he apologizes to her for every punch he's ever laid. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking if that was true, he'd probably have no voice, but whatever. And he's taking on some guy whose name I didn't hear and who didn't get an entrance, so whatever. Corner forearms by T-Bone, a toss, a boot, some shots to the back, kicks to the sternum, another running boot, a running senton, a neck vice, a right hand, and a lariat. The right hand and the lariat come in quick succession and get the win for T-Bone, who gets on the mic and says, if this is the best NXT UK has to offer, then NXT UK is a joke. To which he's leaving the ring while the next guy is coming down for his match. Well, the next guy coming down for his match is Dave Mastiff, and says to him, like, it's off mic, but you can tell just by the camera that picked it up, if you want to see what NXT UK has to offer, watch this. He's in there with a guy named Dan Maloney, who's apparently the hometown boy. They're in the Insomnia Gaming Center again, which, as I said in the last video, seems like a really, really cool venue. It's not huge, but it definitely is a step up from the Cambridge Corn Exchange that they did the last set of tapings in. Maloney, who's the hometown guy, apparently tries some strikes on Mastiff, to which everybody, including the commentators, kind of laughed. Drop kick by Mastiff, which is terrifying. Senton headbutt, delayed suplex, and a cannonball gets the win for Mastiff, and they stare each other down in the aisleway once again because T-Bone was watching this 1 minute match happen from the rampway. Now, immediately, that's a cool way to say, that is better than two big guys who are powerful and dominant and all that sort of thing. That is way better than two guys cutting promos on each other, because in a sense, Tyson T-Bone cut his promo by kicking the shit out of a jobber, and Dave Mastiff cut his response promo by kicking the shit out of a jobber. And it's just, if you want to take the actions speak louder than words, they're really talking to each other through the jobbers that they're beating up. And the fact that these two matches happened in very quick connected succession really, really made sense. And they're going to fight later on probably, and I like it. JINNY versus MILLIE McKENZIE. Now, JINNY I like. I don't like the whole, like, they try to put her off as like a scrappy fighter, but at the same time she's a fashion diva. I don't really get it. And MILLIE McKENZIE, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen a whole lot of. The only things I have seen is because I follow people like Pete Dunne on Twitter and whatnot, just to, you know, mostly to get updates on what's happening at Destiny, to be real. But I've seen clips of what MILLIE McKENZIE can do, and apparently she's only 18. Nigel McGuinness on commentary goes out of his way to point out the fact that if she wins this tournament, she will be the youngest champion in WWE history, which is good. And she was really impressive in this match. Other than the confusion about her gimmick, I don't mind JINNY. She's alright. MILLIE McKENZIE really stuck it out in this match. Didn't help her out in the long run, but it is what it is. Collar and elbow tie and an overhead key lock by MILLIE. Slap by JINNY and a series of forearms by MILLIE, followed by a drop kick. Kick to the back by MILLIE and a rolling back elbow. Mic check into the second turnbuckle by JINNY, which was really, really good. A lot of people I've noticed on the UK show do various modifications of Mr. Anderson's mic check, and it's really, really good. The other one in the previous show where he just sort of lifted him up deadlift style and dropped him on the face. This one in the second turnbuckle as well. I know it's been done before, it's not brand new, but I'm seeing it a lot in the UK competitors on the NXT UK brand, and it's a nice, neat little thing. It's better than seeing a super kick every match or a suicide dive every match. If this is going to be their version of that, then it's not the worst thing in the world. Mounted punches by JINNY and a facebuster. Head and arm locked by JINNY and a surfboard. She's got, again, much like Nina Samuels in the previous match, she's got a couple different variations and transitions of the surfboard stretch as well. Curb stomp by JINNY and a spear by MILLIE. The spear by MILLIE, for somebody her size, was pretty damn good. Series of Germans by MILLIE. The crowd started chanting Suplex Millie as opposed to Suplex City, like they do for Brock, which was quite entertaining. The crowd loves Millie, by the way. I didn't point that out, but it should be said that they absolutely fucking love her. Back elbows by JINNY and a ripcord rolling kick by JINNY gets the win. JINNY wins the match. JINNY gets to go forward in the tournament, whatever. MILLIE McKENZIE is the one that stuck out to me in this match, so hopefully we see more of her in the future. We find out that next week we're going to get Ligero versus Jordan Devlin based on that promo from Devlin from the last episode, which I still don't understand. I'm going to tear down the whole roster, and then I'm going to single in on the fake luchador in his terms anyways. The match should be good. I mean, people seem to love Ligero, and Jordan Devlin is a creepy bastard. I'm pretty sure he's going to win. So, it is what it is. Zack Gibson versus Trent Seven is your main event. Collar and elbow tie and a wrist lock takedown by Gibson. And then they get into the, if you hate Gibson, take your shoes off, which is fucking wonderful, where Nigel McGuinness tells the other commentator, whose name is slipping out of my mind at the moment, to put his shoes back on. Now that is funny. It's funny in the sense that, as I said in the last episode, a lot of people are really, really critical on the post-produced commentary. So they're not in the arena. They're not there while this is happening. So you got to imagine they're in a sound studio somewhere where, oh, Nick Joseph is the other guy. You got to imagine they're watching this in a sound studio after the fact, and Vic Joseph is apparently standing in that sound studio with his shoes off for Zack Gibson. Anyways, Don't know why I went into all that, because I like the commentary on NXT UK. It's the only brand currently that has a two-man booth, unless they've gone back to a two-man booth on 205 Live, which I haven't watched in a while. But I mean, even NXT proper has a three-man booth now, and it doesn't help. We can go on forever and ever. Raw and SmackDown, another story for another day. The only thing good on the main roster commentary team is Corey Graves. So there, it is what it is. Short arm scissor by Gibson and chops by 7. Gibson tries to bail, but he's blocked by Tyler Bate, who shows up on the rampway, which institutes a huge round of Mustache Mountain chants, which is great. Chops by 7 and a double chop to the throat by Gibson. Keylock by Gibson, low drop kick, and he snaps the arm. Stiff forearm by Gibson and a keylock DDT. Cobra clutch by Gibson and an arm-posted suplex. The arm-posted suplex is always good because you get the lift and you get the pain involved in the lift before you even get the suplex, which is fucking amazing. Both men trade some strikes for a while. DDT by 7, Enziguri by 7, suicide drive, and a snapdragon suplex by 7. Powerbomb by 7, single leg crab and some more chops, side suplex by Gibson, codebreaker to the arm. Both men trade some more forearm shots, clothesline by Gibson, side slam by Gibson, a boot and an Enziguri. He hits the... I love this. We are actually getting some moves named now. The Ticket to Ride, which is his top rope launching codebreaker to the face. Even commentary manages to point out that even though he didn't hit it perfectly, it's still damn effective. Going back to what I said last episode about you don't necessarily have to hit something correctly for it to look brutal. Shankly Gates by Gibson, but 7 reaches the ropes. As 7 reaches the ropes, Tyler Bates talking some shit on the outside. Gibson shouts back to him. Chop and a 7-star lariat by 7, but James Drake takes out Bate on the outside. Why is James Drake out there? I have no fucking clue, but it's enough to distract 7. Gibson pins 7, holding Drake's hand for leverage. Gibson gets the win, and they make a quick, hasty retreat. They're high-fiving and thanking each other and telling each other how awesome they are as they go up the rampway. And apparently, they mentioned this on commentary, apparently, elsewhere, these guys are a tag team called the Grizzled Young Veterans. Think about that name for a second. The Grizzled Young Veterans. If that's not a contradiction of a contradiction, I don't know what is. But... I can't say anything. They're building a tag team division, so now you've got Mustache Mountain, who are obviously going to feud with these guys, plus you've got Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster that are probably going to feud with the Coffees. You've got a big build between a couple of different teams that are actually starting to grab my interest, because Gibson was introduced to us on this show as a singles guy that was a contender for the main title, and now that he's failed, he's going to slip back into the tag team scene. You got 2 up-and-coming guys in Webster and Andrews that are really entertaining babyface guys that are going to join. They've already kind of joined out of necessity. Now they're doing it for a new goal. It's all good. They leave, and 7's already had the shit beat out of him. Bates trying to help him out of the ring, and they get the shit kicked out of them 3-on-2 by Wolfgang and the Coffees, which is great. Eventually, they get it to a point where Bate is restrained in the corner, having to watch his mentor locked in a single leg crab on the same leg that has been worked on the whole match. So what do we have now? We have a tag team division that's building. We have this sort of faction warfare that's building between these 2 big teams. We've got the women's division kicking off with this tournament that's going to crown a new champion. And yes, if you've been following the spoilers, you knew who the champion was ages ago, and she didn't get to perform at Evolution other than in a dark match. But it is what it is. It's still a lot of fun. I got to see somebody brand new in MILLIE McKENZIE, who I really, really enjoyed. And they packed a lot into a 1-hour episode here. This is really, really fucking good. For a show that's only existed for about 6 weeks or so, this is fucking amazing. This is a whole bunch of people that I wasn't familiar with, say, 3 months ago, that I am now willing to say if they put on a takeover this weekend along with WarGames, I would watch. I would watch intently. I would watch that more than I would watch Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is a fucking shit show. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys. More announcements regarding Fearless, Destiny Wrestling's first ever pay-per-view on Fight TV, happening November 25th. But before I get to those, I do want to congratulate Destiny Wrestling for their new announced working relationships with both Fight Club Pro and Blackcraft Wrestling. Both of those companies are doing combined shows with Destiny in the near future. I encourage you, especially if you're in the local area, to go check those out. I think the one with Fight Club Pro is happening in New York. The one with Blackcraft is actually happening in my backyard, which is always great. They've added another match to Fearless. It's going to be new Destiny talent Channing Decker taking on Teddy Hart. Now, obviously, that's in addition to the match that we already know about, which is interim Destiny champion Josh Alexander taking on Rey Fenix and Rich Swann. This is building up to be a hell of a card. Destiny's growing. I'm happy for them. You guys should check them out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.